Hi, this is Frank Simon with the rest of the news, and our special guest today is Matt Singleton. How you doing?
Good as always to be here, Dr. Simon. Appreciate being on the rest of the news.
Well, praise the Lord. Now, I saw this pamphlet recently. It says the Democrats' war on pro-lifers, all kinds of pro-lifers. This is an amazing book. I never thought about this. A group of these Democrat senators tried to kill the nomination of anybody that was Christian or Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
They said, oh, no, that's a problem. If you believe in Christianity, then that's a problem. And they voted against them.
Think about it. This is kind of a classic story where people with their traditional values, they get lured in the Democratic Party, and the Democratic Party acts like it accepts them in every way, but then all of a sudden it'll turn its back on them at the end. You see this with the Jews when it comes to their attitude about Israel. Also, we've seen this in the Catholic Church with their attitude about abortion. It's almost like an abusive relationship. Come back, baby, it'll be okay. And then, boom, they hit them hard.
That's right. They've said that anybody that's pro-life is not welcome in the Democrat Party.
Yeah.
If you're pro-life, you're not welcome in the Democrat Party.
Everybody who's born apparently had some sort of pro-life thing to do with it, so I guess nobody's welcome.
That's right.
If they want to be consistent, how about they say only aborted people can vote?
Increasing Planned Parenthood's federal funding. They want to increase the Planned Parenthood's federal funding.
Yeah.
Okay, they're already getting $1 billion or something.
Yeah, and so that's the government paying to kill babies.
That's right.
And how does that figure out with the Constitution? When you look at the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, how is it that this is to us in our prosperity? Who is us? That was our founding fathers. What's posterity mean? That's future generations. Well, guess what? Every aborted baby was a future generation, a future American to George Washington.
Yeah.
So basically, all the founding fathers, their posterity, over 50 to 60 million, have been denied all their constitutional rights by our government.
Now, here's another one. They said that the Obama administration systematically excluded Assyrian Christians fleeing ISIS. They took something like 10,800 people from the Middle East, and only 56, or 1/2% were Christians. And they were the ones that are being crucified.
If you're dealing with people who are living in those countries like Syria, who's more likely to be tortured and killed?
Yes.
Now, yes, there are Muslims who are also being persecuted by other Muslims, but it's almost more likely these people are going to have a greater bias against you, and when they're wanting to flee, when they're wanting to have freedom, this is the same group of people that said we want open borders. The same people that said we want open borders says don't let the Christians in.
Exactly. Now, here's a whole paragraph that says, why are the left-wingers anti-Trump? And to make a long story short, it's because he's pro-life and open to the pro-life thinking. And they go, oh, that's terrible. We got to kill as many babies as possible.
When you look at it, the whole point of Donald Trump is very simple. Make America great again.
Yeah, and they sure don't want that.
He's pro-life. He wants more American lives. That will make America great again. When they look at policies and stuff, he says, I want policies from America for America. They say, no, we want anti-American economics, anti-American policies.
And no jobs and more welfare and all of this.
They hate America, so they have to hate Trump.
And they hate the idea that he's trying to make America better. They don't like that. Make America great again. It says the Democrat Party has become an anti-Christian institution. Can you believe that?
Looking at all the policies and the things that have gone on, yes, I totally believe that.
That video that we had, I guess, where it says, no wall, no Trump, no USA at all.
Yeah, no Trump, no wall, no USA at all.
Can you imagine? They don't want Trump, and they don't want the same people, which is Antifa.
It's no longer seductive. And that's what's amazing about it, is that it was something to where, oh, we're all equals and we love America too. And now they're just going ahead and saying it. We want to destroy America.
We want to destroy America.
Soon they'll be like, I almost guarantee you this will probably happen. At some point they'll say, we want evil. Yay.
You're probably right. Now, here's another point that brings up is that the majority whip, Steve Scalise, they were against him. They tried to murder him.
Yeah.
And then they got a slip of paper out of the shooter's pocket, and he had a whole list of Christian congressmen that he was trying to kill. Can you imagine that? That never came out on the news.
Oh, no, they hide this stuff on the news all the time.
Okay? Unbelievable.
There was a shooting over in Tennessee last fall, and this fella, he was an African, and he went to a Church of Christ, and I think he murdered 2 people, shot 7 more, and that was never brought up because of what? Because it was the exact opposite of the earlier story. I think both of them are evil, both of them works the devil, both of them are attacks on Christians, but no, you got to paint something, and since they couldn't paint that the way they wanted to, oh, that's not a story. Their lives don't matter.
I never heard that before, that the shooter in the Scalise case had a whole list of Christian congressmen.
He was outspokenly on the Bernie Sanders campaign for socialism. The old chant of all we're saying is give peace a chance, that's out the window. The only peace they're talking about is their peace versus you having your peace taken away from you. They want to take away your PEACE, and they'll also do that by taking away people's PIECE.
It was an attempt to massacre Christians. Can you believe that? They're trying to massacre Christians.
There is a devil. People talk about worrying about atheism, and that is a problem, but honestly, the biggest thing that I worry about is Satanism. You have to understand there is an enemy, there is evil, there is a spiritual force putting all this together. And if there is an order of evil in our society and we cannot understand it by a specific group of people, then it must be a spiritual force. And that is coming from the devil. He's out there. The Democratic Party is not going to fight him.
No.
Who's going to fight him? Those who believe in Jesus.
Here it says that the left-wingers were very upset about Betsy DeVos becoming the head of the Department of Education. Newsweek said, Betsy DeVos is coming for your public school.
She can have them.
Yeah.
After what they have done to our public schools, when they try to warp knowledge, and that's what they do, and it comes straight from the old days of communism, when they try to control the education. They try to push evolution. I talked about the last episode how it was already proven 30 years ago. 30 years ago in peer-reviewed scientific journals that it does not work. But they push that. They push the most archaic versions of evolution into school. And then what do they do with this idea of global warming? The whole point of global warming is to get people off track, not think about private property, not think about your own ownership, but say, hey, your property is everybody's property. We're not even free ourselves. We're the property of the earth. When I was a little kid, I used to watch a cartoon. It was called Captain Planet. And Captain Planet was telling us how New York would be flooded, totally covered in water by 2015. Captain Planet got his powers from Gaia, the spirit of the earth. The pagan deity Gaia was who we were supposed to go for. I was just a kid, so I'm like trying to collect cans and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to make money off this. I collected cans all summer, made $1.15. They try to do all these things in order to pass some really bad economics, in order to take away our rights, our chance, the American dream to actually make something of yourself and our own freedoms and private property. And all these things are embedded into the school system. Lies. Propaganda. Big word, propaganda. That's what's going on.
I agree. Now, here it says, a quote from the Washington Post. Religious law may be coming to America, but it's not Sharia, it's Christianity. And the implication is that Christianity is worse.
I think the implication is it's okay to be stupid when it comes to history. There's something called the Seventh Amendment. The Seventh Amendment talks about our common law. This idea of common law comes not only from America's founding fathers, it goes back into England, and then it got him King Alfred, who took it from the Bible. When he set forth the 10 Commandments, and they went through this common law stage, it was the morality that all people can agree to. That's society, the morality that all people can agree to. And when we attack it, when we attack common law, what we're attacking is all common morality, all common law. So therefore, society will fall apart absolutely into shambles. Okay, so what he's saying is that it's scary for us to actually have society again.
This is a great little book. This is a little book about the Democrats' war on Catholicism or Christianity. I think we can get more of these and give them out to our kids.
And this is a major concern. And I would ask my Catholic friends to think about this, because a lot of their traditional values are being attacked by the people they put in office. Think about Nancy Pelosi. Think about Barack Obama's vice president. Joe Biden. A lot of these groups of people have been pushing these ungodly policies over and over on our people. It's not going to help. Let me give you two quick passages, just as quick as I can. Epistle of St. John in chapter 2. He says, "Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him." You cannot set up the kingdom of God through the kingdom of the devil. This is the biggest thing, and all faithful people need to kind of understand this. This is what's going on here. The second epistle of the Corinthians, chapter 6, and he says this. He says, "Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers, for what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness? What communion hath light with darkness? What concord has Christ with Belial?" That's the god of the Persians. "Or what part hath he that believeth with an infidel?" We want to push these ungod, infidel, atheistic, secular values, and we think that that's going to set up the kingdom of God. No, it's not.
That's right. This is a call-in program. If you'd like to call in, add your comments to the program. The number to call is 571-0970. 571-0970. You can call in right now. Give us your words. The other thing is, if you want a copy of this magazine where it says the Democrats are at war against Christianity, give us a call at 895-5025. 895-5025. You can call right now. There may be an answering machine, but you can leave your name, address, phone number, and if you can, your email address, and we'll get these right out to you. This is something that you won't believe till you see it for yourself. These are direct quotes from the left-wing newspapers and the left-wing politicians, like you said. Here it says, Hillary took Cecilia Richards on the campaign trail when she was campaigning for president. Okay, Cecilia Richards is the CEO of Planned Parenthood. So, and before Hillary set out, she said that she dedicated her campaign to Planned Parenthood. That was just after they showed all these videos of Planned Parenthood workers cutting little babies open to get their livers and brains. And
I got the sad opportunity to see a video done on live abortions, and I've seen babies ripped apart piece by piece, very gory details. I even saw a video once of an accidental abortion that had the baby still alive inside of its amniotic sac. You start to realize when we talk about things like genocide, it seems that people only want to talk about the genocide that they couldn't get rid of, the stuff they couldn't hide away. And we don't realize what's been done even in our city of Louisville in the past. People might talk about the abortion clinic out front, but they don't look at the biohazard in the back.
Absolutely, absolutely. Hillary was pushing abortion even during her campaign and took Cecilia Richards, who's the CEO of Planned Parenthood, with her and dedicated her campaign to Planned Parenthood. Now, can you believe that? That's kind of amazing. And of course,
that's been part of the lineage.
Said right along that if you are pro-life, they don't want you in the Democrat.
You trace this back through the history, and what you end up finding is that Planned Parenthood comes from Margaret Sanger. Margaret Sanger and also a guy named Hugh Hefner. Both of them were students of a guy named Alfred Kinsey. And Alfred Kinsey was the first major sexologist. And he actually got his training in Nazi Germany. If you want to really know where this stuff goes historically, that's where it traces.
Well, and the abortion movement has become an anti-African American genocide.
Well, over 13 million African American babies have been aborted. And when we talk about racism, when it comes to the idea of if you are someone who is what they call biracial, I believe all people are the same race, but still, the term biracial, a lot of aborted babies come from those situations.
It's amazing. Of course, here's where Obama tried to make the Little Sisters of the Poor give abortions, birth control pills, and abortifacients to everyone on their insurance. Well, it's unbelievable what's going on here. And if you would like a copy of this brochure, call 895-5025 to get material. I think we can get this to you for free. 895-5025. And if you want to call in on the program, it's 571-0970. 571-0970.
One thing is that we talk about a lot of these spiritual issues. And a lot of people assume there's almost a rule that spirituality must be mythology. It must be something not true so we can turn our brains off when we start talking about this issue.
Yeah.
But actually, I have found scientific evidence for the existence of the spirit. There is a guy, I think you can find him on YouTube. He's a neuroscientist named Jerome Feldman. And he did a speech in 2013 about this. It was called the connecting problem. And what it is as he studied the brain, one thing they have found is as they map the entire brain out, you do not find a physical organ that is the mind. You find cable and all these neurons that are connect to all your neural system, your brain, and everything like that, but you don't find the mind. When you use your eyes will see colors, it'll see movement, it'll see shapes, and then these cords will take all that information separately, and it all goes back into some little knot in your brain, and then it disappears, and then it reappears coming out into your neurons to focus and function. And so when we do thinking, all of our thinking is not taking place in a material form. There has to be something immaterial about mankind. And this was something also known in philosophy. When we try to figure out what things are, Plato kind of noticed this. If you have a dog, the material of that dog is going to change over time because the dog is going to eat, the dog is going to have feces and other types of excrement, and all this material is coming in and out, and yet we always recognize the dog is not just that physical amount of matter, but we have a form. And so as we start to develop this idea of forms, we say, okay, well, there's something non-material about the dog that keeps itself that way. Now, we go deeper into science and you start studying microbiology and DNA. Well, then you have that form millions of times more complex. Now you have that form discussed out, and they've talked about the coded information that's within our cells, and this code actually can be translated into a language of sorts. You can store enough coded information into a cell to fit the whole Library of Congress.
Darwin thought that a cell was just a little blob of soup or something.
Yeah, mucus. And I read about that too. That other scientist, Ernst Haeckel, started developing that idea. And it was based off of this thing at the bottom of the sea. They were picking ocean water up at the bottom of the sea, and they found this white foamy fuzz. And Haeckel instantly thought, that must be this type of mucus which creates cells. Actually, and there was a chemist on the boat who actually knew this, that was a chemical reaction and not microbiology at all. But they just jumped to these ideas. Why? Because they're being led by their faith.
They're anti-God faith, and they don't want to believe that God created the universe and created us, that he loves us, he died for us, and he's coming back.
And that's what informs these decisions. Not that people don't have their own moral responsibility, but the fact is we don't want to have these lies to push that idea. We don't want a kid faced with the temptation of drug abuse thinking, well, your body's just a bunch of chemicals. You just put some of these in, it'll make you feel better. How much of our society is destroyed? How many people's lives have been vanquished as a result of dumb ideas, dumb lies like this?
Absolutely. Well, you can look at what the program here for the Democrat Party and these leading Democrats about pushing abortion, like Hillary pushed abortion right from the very beginning of her campaign. Like you say, a cultural war. We need to be involved in this. We need you to. There's this question I keep asking myself. Have there been enough children murdered in America's schools? That's something I'd like to ask you. Have there been enough children murdered in America's schools. And if there have, like I'm sure everybody agrees there have been, then the question is, why don't we put a stop to it? And what's causing all of these murders? And of course, the answer is because they kicked God out of our schools. And all of these murders are the result of kicking God out of our schools.
The last major murderer that a lot of people have been talking about, I think his name was Nick. I did some study on him, and it turned out that, like, one of the things he was known for was not only was he racist, but he actually had a picture of the Nazi swastika on his backpack.
Yeah.
And what's important about that is what was the first major shooting, public school shooting, that we had at Columbine, and the two guys that are trench coat mafia guys, they were fans of Hitler.
Right.
Okay.
Fulfilling natural selection.
Yeah, because they were living out some of the evolution that they were taught. And as I said, that Ernst Haeckel guy, he was in several American science textbooks. So this stuff all connects together. Another mass murderer, Kip Kipling, another guy who also agreed with some of this evolution and Nazi propaganda. That stuff gets into people's heads.
We do not have to have more and more murders in America's public schools. Mm-hmm. We do not have to have the drug epidemic. We do not have to have the dumbing down of our students. We do not have to have more and more sexually transmitted. We don't need any of that. And we can stop it by getting rid of the cause of it, which is putting God back in our public schools. And we have a petition that we'd like to send you because we all got to work together to stop these murders. Just call the same number, 895-5025, and we'll send you petitions. We'll send you the little pamphlet we were talking about today. And I think we're out of time. Thank you very much for being with us. And if you can, call in and tune in again next week. And we will have Matt Singleton with us again soon. God bless you and see you next time. Hi, I'm Dr. Frank Simon. I'm an allergist and family doctor, board certified in both allergy and internal medicine. I specialize in allergy, headaches, sinus, hives, cough, asthma, hypertension, and diabetes. We're located at 1404 Browns Lane near Norton Suburban Hospital. Our phone number is 895-5088. We can see you tomorrow. Are saying no Trump, no wall, no USA at all. No Trump, no wall, no USA at all. And it just repeats it over and over again. That's what's going on in America today.
Yes.
There are people that saying, oh, we don't like Trump. We don't like any kind of border around our country. We want the drugs to come in freely and the terrorists to come in freely. So they are really against America. No USA at all. That was their message.
They're against what America stands for, in their opinion. They view us as big bully with the big stick, forcing our will, oppressing other people, taking advantage of other people. And again, this message that we see over and over again, it comes in very subtly. It's we're concerned about the little guy. We're concerned about the poor, the oppressed, those that are being taken advantage of. It's ironic that that's what Christians care about. Jesus came for the least of these. We are taught to show love to the least of these. So Christians are not about bullying, are not about enforcing our will on other people. We're about helping those in need.
In need, right.
But somehow I think that message has been lost on a lot of people. And I think that's what persecution did in Romania. It reminded the church what we're really supposed to be about. I think especially in America, the church has gotten very comfortable. We've been used to being the ones in charge, to being popular, to being accepted, to being the majority. And we forgot that the message of Jesus is to reach out and love, to care for those around us. So in Romania, like I said, that woke up the church. It made us focus on those things. It made us ask ourselves, am I willing to suffer for my belief. And I think a lot of Christians here in America need to ask themselves, do I really believe that this Bible is true? And if I do, what am I going to do with it?
The bottom line is there is a war going on between those that want America to have wide open borders, more and more drugs, and cheap drugs, lots of drugs, open to terrorists and all of that. Then you've got people who are trying to lower taxes, trying to get more and more jobs, more and more prosperity for everybody. There's a conflict there, wouldn't you say?
There is a strong conflict there, absolutely. And people need to be informed. They need to hold their politicians accountable, do what they have said they would do to stop being bought and sold by corporate interests, and to vote on what's good for the people and not to just vote for whoever put them into office. That is the beautiful thing about the system here in America. We didn't have that in Romania. Our leaders were pushed upon us, and we got what we got. We didn't have a choice in that. In America,
we get to vote.
We get to vote. We get to take people out of office. We get to put people in office. We get to have a say in the laws and the policies that are being made in this country. And it is a blessing from God. And Christians need to take that responsibility seriously.
Seriously.
I don't remember the figures, but the number of Christians that actually go and vote is so low, it's frightening. If we don't vote, if we will not have a say in how we want things to be in this country, other people will. So then we shouldn't really be surprised when things don't look the way we like them to look. They look the exact opposite.
When they took prayer and the Ten Commandments and the Bible and creation science out of the schools, they basically took God out of the schools. Since then, we've had a huge trouble with drugs and crime, poor academic achievement. All of that has gone from bad to worse.
Right. Families have fallen apart.
Families have fallen apart.
The whole structure of our society. Because when you take God out, my mother used to say, when you take God out of good, you're left with a big O. You're left with nothing. Left to our own devices, we will always deteriorate. We will always make things worse. And it's how it starts, removing the influence of God, removing this concept of right and wrong. And when we get to decide what we think is right and what we think is wrong, then the strongest among us will be the ones who determine that. More and more people will be oppressed.
We would like to put God back in our schools, okay? And some people say, oh, you can't do that. Well, of course we can. With God's help, we can. And we've got a petition. And if you call right now, 895-5025, we will send you a copy of this petition. And you can get everybody in your church to sign it, everyone in your neighborhood to sign it, everyone at work to sign it, and you can get everybody signing this, and that will start a movement. Now, right now, there's a bill in Frankfurt that's supposed to protect pastors so they don't have to perform same-sex marriages. Well, it's going nowhere. Powers that be want to stop that. If you call us right now, 893-2444, we will get you the petition. We'll call you about the number to call in Frankfurt and the bill numbers and what to say and everything. And we'll organize the Bible-believing people together and we'll try to take our country back.